SpaceX shows no signs of slowing down as NASA has revealed that the Starship will attempt a propellant transfer demonstration in its upcoming third test flight. However, there is skepticism that the company may be rushing things as the craft has yet to achieve orbit. With a lot at stake and the pressure mounting to get the Starship ready in time for the Artemis missions, can SpaceX pull off this ambitious demonstration? Let's take a closer look. As SpaceX readies for the imminent Starship launch, new insights into the flight profile and mission plans are coming to light. According to reports, the third flight is anticipated to showcase a propellant transfer demonstration, marking a pivotal moment in the ongoing development of Starship. The success of this demonstration hinges on the vehicle entering a coasting phase around the globe, a critical advancement for Starship's capabilities as a lunar lander, effectively addressing recent concerns. It's crucial to emphasize that the propellant transfer plan for the upcoming flight is expected to be more straightforward, offering a glimpse into the evolving complexities that future plans may involve with multiple vehicles in orbit. In a recent presentation, the NASA Assistant Deputy Associate Administrator underscored SpaceX's progress in human landing system activities. Notably, the presentation acknowledged the completion of Raptor vacuum engine testing under space-like conditions. SpaceX, having executed its second Starship flight test, is swiftly moving forward with the third, which will prominently feature a propellant transfer demonstration. For the Artemis 3 mission, SpaceX has been entrusted with providing a Starship lunar lander. This lunar lander is slated to rendezvous with the Orion spacecraft in lunar orbit before making its descent to the moon's surface. A noteworthy aspect of this mission is the requirement for SpaceX's lunar lander to execute multiple propellant transfers while in Earth orbit. A recent report from the U.S. Government Accountability Office, GAO, underscores the substantial work remaining in the domain of in-space propellant storage and transfer. SpaceX, in response to this, has outlined plans to conduct a test specifically focusing on in-space propellant storage and transfer, aiming to propel the technology forward. However, the timing of this test hinges on the successful completion of preceding flights. SpaceX representatives have clarified that while the core technology for propellant transfer isn't groundbreaking, it demands dedicated engineering time and development effort to undergo comprehensive design and testing. The ultimate goal is to incorporate this technology in the Artemis 3 mission. A critical aspect highlighted is the dependency on the performance of docking hardware during spaceflight testing. Any deviations may necessitate substantial vehicle modifications, potentially causing delays in mission timelines. Highlighting the significance of these technologies, officials from the Human Landing System, HLS, stress that SpaceX must demonstrate their capabilities before reaching the critical design review phase to instill confidence in the mission's concept of operations. Relating to an earlier NASA presentation mentioning a propellant transfer demonstration on the next flight, there's a suggestion that SpaceX could start gathering crucial data during this process. Although unconfirmed, there's speculation that the upcoming third flight test and demonstration might involve transferring propellant between the main tank and header tanks while Starship is in a coasting phase. In simple terms, the third test flight of Starship won't involve a rendezvous with another spacecraft in space. Instead, it will follow a trajectory similar to the first two tests. The primary objective is for SpaceX to focus on crucial systems for transferring fuel between spacecraft. This includes the development of sensors and mechanisms for docking, locating each other, and aligning starships for efficient fuel transfer. Additionally, they are addressing the challenge of measuring and storing fuel efficiently to prevent any loss in space. Despite not connecting with another spacecraft in this upcoming test, SpaceX has a substantial amount to explore and experiment with. Initiating this process in the upcoming flight test will yield valuable data and enhance preparedness for future real-world scenarios. It's important to highlight that the propellant transfer demonstration will only take place in the next flight if the upper stage successfully separates from the booster and enters its coasting phase. In the previous flight test, the stages did separate, and the upper stage nearly completed its burn before meeting destruction. SpaceX aims to leverage insights from this test flight to refine the system, with the ultimate objective of successfully reaching the final destination in the third flight. NASA awarded SpaceX a substantial $53.2 million contract a few years ago, specifically aimed at advancing in-orbit propellant transfer capabilities. This funding is designated for a significant flight demonstration with the ambitious goal of transferring 10 metric tons of cryogenic propellant, specifically liquid oxygen, between tanks on a Starship vehicle. During that period, the NASA administrator highlighted SpaceX's strategic use of cryogenic transfer in low orbit for their Starship design. Notably, the design doesn't necessitate a fuel depot around the Moon. Instead, it relies on one in Earth's orbit. The concept involves two Starship upper stages, potentially with one modified, attempting to rendezvous and transfer propellant while in orbit. While technically feasible on the trajectory of the third flight, which doesn't reach orbit, the probability of this occurrence is currently low. The full realization of such attempts may not materialize until SpaceX consistently achieves orbit with Starship. Assuming a smooth flight, there's approximately a 90-minute window between upper stage engine cutoff and re-entry, providing ample time for the propellant transfer demonstration and other tasks. In light of the Government Accountability Office's GAO report, it indicated that SpaceX still has technical hurdles to overcome in the realm of on-orbit propellant storage and transfer technology. Notably, the Human Landing System, HLS program documentation, suggests that these technologies haven't been integrated into a propulsion system previously. Interestingly, the document also highlights that NASA officials mentioned the in-space propellant transfer test would be delayed, pending SpaceX's demonstration that Starship can successfully reach orbit. Furthermore, HLS officials underscored the interconnected nature of Starship tests. Subsequent test flights, including the uncrewed flight test, hinge on SpaceX's successful completion of both the orbital flight and in-space propellant transfer tests. The Artemis 3 mission plan unveils specific milestones crucial for its success. Initially, a propellant depot will be launched to a lower orbit, followed by multiple tankers that will rendezvous, dock, and efficiently transfer the propellant to the depot. Once a sufficient amount of propellant is in orbit, an uncrewed human landing system, HLS Starship, will launch into the lower orbit, performing a precise rendezvous and dock with the depot. Subsequently, the depot will transfer its stored propellant to the HLS Starship. Continuing with the plan, the HLS Starship will execute a swift transfer to the near rectilinear halo orbit, where it will remain for up to 90 days. This period allows thorough monitoring of the vehicle's health and aligns with the launch and arrival schedule of the Orion spacecraft. Orion, carrying a crew, will launch and dock with the HLS Starship. Two astronauts will then transfer from Orion to the HLS Starship, which will descend to the lunar surface for a 5-day stay. After completing lunar surface activities, including moonwalks, the HLS Starship will ascend back to the near rectilinear halo orbit. The crew will subsequently transfer back to Orion for the return journey to Earth. However, the Artemis 3 plan, along with other mission components, faces potential risks due to possible delays. According to the Government Accountability Office, GAO, as of September 2023, NASA and SpaceX aim to complete flight readiness reviews for the depot, tanker, and lander versions of the Starship within the same 9-month period preceding Artemis 3. The GAO has expressed concerns about this compressed timeline, as it provides limited flexibility to address any identified issues during these reviews before the mission's scheduled launch. SpaceX representatives clarified that scheduling 3 flight readiness reviews concurrently is a strategic move aimed at supporting the Artemis 3 mission, taking into account the inherent nature and pace of these reviews. The synchronized timing is designed to optimize efficiency, ensuring a streamlined process. Any potential delays to these critical events would not only heighten the schedule pressure on SpaceX, but also on NASA. Despite concerns regarding the timeline, SpaceX is actively advancing its Starship hardware and gearing up for the impending third flight test. The current target for the launch window is set for early 2024, likely spanning from February to April. This timeframe is grounded in the completion of remaining tasks, including static firing tests for Booster 10 and Ship 28. Encouragingly, the launch pad is reported to be in good condition and is expected to be operational shortly. Furthermore, SpaceX is optimistic about smoother interactions with the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, and other regulatory agencies. This optimism is based on improved launch outcomes and the absence of any significant damage to the launch pad. These favorable conditions collectively contribute to the likelihood of the launch occurring within the next few months, minimizing the risk of an extension to half a year or more. What else do you think we can expect to see in Starship's next test flight? Could SpaceX finally attempt to use the Mechazilla, or is the propellant transfer demonstration enough of a challenge to overcome? Let us know in the comments.